Hello, Gabe Heller here. How Now Brown Couch on Twitch and G Hohenzollern on YouTube. And today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm working on the next mod pack for our next YouTube series, Rainbow Robot Bleh. It's going to be called Robot Rainbow. We're just going to play with a bunch of fun mods, the random ones that we've auditioned that we seem to like. So what I'm going to start by doing is adding the next mod to the mod pack. First thing we need to do is download the mod. Now over here in this window, in this tiny font, I have a list of all of the mods in the order that I intend to add them to the pack. And the next one on the list is Soul Shards The Old Ways. So that's what we're going to add. So let's look it up on CurseForge. Soul Shards The Old Ways, Minecraft CurseForge. That is exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Store the souls of creatures inside gems for use in a soul cage to summon more of them later. Okay. You can obtain a soul shard by building a small structure and right-clicking the center with a diamond. And there's an interesting thing that says how you do that. Okay. Do as you wish with it. If you ask if the mod can be included in a pack, you will be ignored. So, there's no point in asking. The answer is yes, and we can include it in our pack. Yay! So, now we go to Files. Let's just use the All Versions drop-down here, which I've not been using in the past, to find the versions for 189. There we go. This is the most recent version for 189. I think it's the one that we tested as well. So, we'll go ahead and download that one. Excellent. And we'll click on download. Save file. Okay, excellent. We have downloaded the mod. Now we need to put it in our pack. And I have the directory already open here. There it is. Normally you'd get here by clicking on the mod pack options here and then on open here. And that's how you would get to your mod pack directory. But I've already done that, so here I am in my mod pack directory, Robot Rainbow. Go into the mods directory and then find your most recently downloaded mod. There it is, Soul Shards-TOW 189.228-16.jar. And we're going to move that over here like so. Okay, so I want our next set of videos to be entirely, completely high-res textured. And I've got a little time before we start recording them, so I'm working on that. So, but let's first make sure that we didn't break the pack by including Soul Shards The Old Ways. Did it work? Hello? Yes! There we are. Excellent. Okay, so, it works. Let's join a previous single-player world, just to be sure that this is my test Twitch world from the last time I tested the 189 pack. So we'll just make sure that we can still load one of the old worlds. I think we're going to create a new world for complete testing. Though I don't know, maybe Soul Shards The Old Ways doesn't actually add any world gen, in which case maybe we can just use it right away. Okay, so here we are in our little hut by the sea. Got a little oil well rig out there, pumping oil. That's good. But what we want to do is check and see if Soul Shards, sorry, Shift-Add, there we go, Soul, yes, Soul Shards has some items. They do not currently have textures, so it looks like there are corrupted ingots, there's corrupted essence, and vile dust. There are Soul Shards, which are unbound or bound, perhaps, eventually, though it doesn't say bound here. There is a fancy vile sword that I assume you make from the corrupted ingots, and there is a soul cage. Okay. So those are all the things that we will be texturing. And it doesn't look like there's any world gen that's gone on here. There's no ores. So just have to figure out how these things drop, how to get them. But it appears as though this is going to be a relatively quick texturing job. Now let's check first to make sure that textures have not already been made. So we'll quit out of the mod pack. And there we are. So I have downloaded in my downloads directory and unzipped all of Fanver Modded Universal for 110. And then in the textures, sorry, not in the textures, in the assets directory, we will see if Soul Shards is listed here. QR, Simple Ore, Steve Cart. So that one's not listed here. So, it doesn't look like they're high-res textures for it at all. So we're going to make some. And I always use GIMP for that. Now the first thing we need to do is actually look, unzip the old textures so we have some reference material. So we need to open with Archive Manager. This will be different in Windows. I'm doing it in Linux because it works quite well working with jar files and zip files. Seems to work much better in Linux. Plus, this is my fast gaming PC. Actually, we just want to copy the whole assets directory to somewhere where we can find it. So, Robot Rainbow. We want to go into the Resource Packs folder. There we go. And this is where we will put assets. Okay, there we go. Now we have access to all the textures and some other things as well, but we only really want the textures. We're going to ignore, in fact, delete the block states and lang directories, leaving just the texture directories. Look like there are blocks. Cage is the only block, and the items, those are the only items. So this is going to go rather quick. So let's open some texture files. Okay, .technic, there we are. Mod packs, Robot Rainbow, Resource Packs, Assets, Soul Shards the Old Ways, Textures. They're being sorted in a weird order. Let's do the blocks first, because I usually do the blocks first. Cage 1 and Cage 2.png. Okay. So I'm guessing these soul cages are supposed to be kind of like spawners, so I may be relying somewhat on the spawner art. Wait, I don't know, we'll see here. First thing is I zoom in 7 times, because I know that my screen can hold a 64x64 image zoomed in 7 times, easily. Okay, colors. No. Then we scale it up. Image, scale image to 64x64, and make sure we set the interpolation to none. Otherwise, it ends up all blurry. Not that blurry would be horrible, but this way at least we can tell what's going on. So it looks like it's kind of a purpley version of the spawner graphic from the original Minecraft, and it's got a kind of a skull in the middle of some kind. So let's get our hands on the original spawner texture from not from Minecraft, but from the texture pack that we're basing all of this on, which is Fanware Modded Universal Monster Mob Spawner. There we go, mobspawner.png. So this is what they decided that Mob Spawner should look like in Fanware Modded Sortex. So that's what we're going to use as the basis for our soul cage. Using the color picker, I've selected a color from the background image, and now I can see the hue of that is 266. So this seems to all have the same hue, so we can just colorize it. Colors, colorize, and we can simply type in hue 266. There it is. It's the purple, and the same purple as the background. That's good. Now, the soul cages also look a little broken, don't they? Yeah, they don't quite look like the original spawner. They've got these little bits to them that kind of make them look broken. So I think we're going to try and superimpose the block breaking texture on this a little to make it look broken. So that's another texture from here. Destroy stage, yeah. Okay, so maybe destroy stage 4? It looks a little destroyed. Maybe 5. I think 5 is going to be okay. Good. Now, since 1.8.9, they've started overlaying the block breaking texture differently. It used to have an alpha to it, but instead now it fades to gray, so I'm not entirely sure how the best way to overlay it is, and I'm going to try a few here. Lighten only is not right. Screen, dodge, addition, darken only, multiply, burn, overlay. Yeah. Well, it's kind of light though, but overlay kind of looks right. Let's see if there's anything else here. Overlay, soft light, hard light. Hard light looks kind of good, but it seems a little complicated of a filter to use just to get that. Grain merge. Yeah, grain merge is definitely what we want. Okay, so now we have merged grains. Let's go ahead and flatten those two together. We use merge visible layers, otherwise it'll get rid of the alpha sections. Now it's got a skull in the middle, and I think the skull that's going to look most like that is the skeleton skull. So we're going to get the skeleton skull from this texture pack, and it will be in textures entity skeleton, skeleton.png. There we go. That does kind of make it look like there's a box there now. Yeah. And I don't know if it needs to be any brighter than that. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we delete the old layer. I'm going to take a good look at cage 2 to see what the difference is. Okay, so in cage 2, the eyes and mouth are lit up. I believe that was not the case in cage 1. So, we're probably just going to copy the old one over this one. So there we are. That is cage2.png. Delete the old layer, overwrite the new layer, and we are set for the soul cage. And in fact, for all of the blocks in this mod, because it doesn't have a whole lot of blocks. So now we move on to the items. We start with Vile Dust, since it's the first in the alphabet. Okay, now this image seems to be based on Blaze Powder, because it's got powder with fire coming off of it. So we will go and grab the Blaze Powder, texture, so there's Blaze Powder. Interestingly enough, it doesn't actually have the flames in this texture pack. Well, we need to move it down in order to center it on this image a little better. Is that centered, or is that more centered? I think that's more centered. Okay, good. And then I always like to do layer to image size so that I don't have to worry about maybe when I overwrite it like going beyond the bounds of the image or something weird like that. Okay, the other thing is that the Vile Dust is brown, so we want to make this brown. The question is, do we want to try and make those flames? I think the answer will depend on how good we can make them looking. So that is going to be our Vile Dust, and that looks nice and vile and dusty. Now, it seemed to me there was a second Vile Dust or something. No, yes, there's Corrupted Essence. So, it's probably gonna, it looks exactly the same except it's a different color. So we're probably gonna go ahead and copy the Vile Dust in making the Corrupted Essence. That's our Corrupted Essence, and I like that a lot. Okay, continuing on, now we have Corrupted Ingots. If possible, we're going to base this on the standard Minecraft ingots. There isn't a lot of contrast here, and the ingot behind has some very light grays in it. So what we're going to do then instead is actually grab some colors from the background image and use them to highlight this image. There it is, a corrupted ingot. So then we have the actual soul shards that the mod is named after. And they look like they're based on coal. That looks like coal to me. Okay, let's see how that looks. Once again, it's all gray up in this corner. So actually I'm going to try something different this time. First I'm going to select that portion of the image. Then I'm going to feather the selection. Feather by a lot of pixels, let's say 25, so we get a nice smooth transition. And then I'm going to run hue saturation on this new selection. And I'm going to turn up the lightness, like so, turn down the saturation, like so. Okay, that right there looks about right to me. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's pretty good. That still doesn't look sufficiently shardy to me. So what we're going to do is I think we're just going to cut off a little bit here and there of the coal. And the way I do that is I pick a color that's not in the image. That particular shade of magenta is in almost no textures, so that's the one I use pretty reliably. Select none. And we'll just go ahead and strip away a little bit of the coal here. Here's the new image. I think we have pretty much achieved a soul shard. Now they have a border around their soul shard. I always have to decide whether I want a border around mine. It really does set it off when you're looking at it, so I think we're going to go ahead and put the same border around ours that they have around theirs. Okay, there we've got our soul shard, and I believe that we are done with that. Now, is there a lot of... yeah, there's shard tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5. They seem to just get brighter and to have more saturation. That seems to be all that happens. There's also an unbound shard, which is... it looks like pure black and white. So I'm guessing we'll be using this shard for a number of other shards. That was 3 times through the colorization, and 10 on each of the other ones. Now we have soul shards tier 4, 3, 2, and 1 as well, as 0, which we already did. So we should be able to math that pretty easily. Okay, and we've got our shard tier 0 as well, which we will overwrite just to be safe. Okay, there we go. So what's left? We have just the sword soul. Okay, so what of the swords that we already know about does this look the most like? The answer is... it really just kind of looks like the iron sword, I think. There we go. Okay, so that's our new soul sword. Overwrite the soul sword. Okay, and I believe we are now done with textures, so we can move on to testing.
Warning, warning, this video is almost over. Warning, warning, it's time to choose another one. This has gone on far too long, time to wake up and sing along. Warning, warning, this video is over now.